Then we have 3 remaining lectures, all online. And the first one is by Özgül Yahyaoğlu, if I'm pronouncing that right. Ah, there she is.
Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Hello. You can start sharing your screen and you can give your presentation on Psorodonotus ebneri.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So, today I'm going to talk about our 2-year conservation project on Psorodonotus ebneri. On behalf of my team, actually, I have 2 colleagues, Onur Uluar and Battal Çıplak. We all affiliated to Akdeniz University in Turkey, and our project was funded by the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund. Well, actually, first of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for this hybrid meeting, Congress, because it was a great opportunity for us to be able to follow all the great talks starting from yesterday. And thank you, because otherwise we will not be able to follow up and also be here to present our project. So we are so happy. Thank you for all the effort. Okay, so let's start with why to conserve Psorodonotus ebneri. Actually, this question arose in 2012 with the efforts of IUCN and Species Survival Commission. They presented a report as a book entitled Priceless or Worthless, listing 100 most threatened species all around the world. So Psorodonotus ebneri was listed on this book, actually, on this list, one of the most threatened species. So here you see the conservation status of the species. It is critically endangered and it locates in really small range on the Beydaglari range, which is southern Taurus mountain range along the southern coast of the Anatolia, Turkey. So it has both names, Beydaglari bushcricket and Çalbalı bushcricket, but this is just, we can use both, this is synonym. So Latin name is Psorodonotus ebneri, actually. So, well, actually, how we came to this conservation action, actually, we started with phylogeny, because it's like, here you see the study published on 2017 by Sarpkaya and Battal Çıplak on Psorodonotus caucasicus, which taxonomically Psorodonotus ebneri belong to. On the right, you see the distribution of the group, and left the phylogenetic tree. Actually, this study open up a different perspective about this, because here you see the population distributions, actually the colored areas, and here ebneri has a really narrow distribution. And on the tree, you see ebneri's closest relative is Macedonicus, which is located on the northern Macedonia and Greece. So this population's closest relative is here. So this study revealed that this is not because of lack of the sampling, actually. So this study revealed that there is a huge number of extinction, actually, along the coast, from Aegean coast and southern coast. So this small population is kind of relict. So as we all know, biodiversity is a kind of umbrella term. It needs taxonomy, phylogeny, phylogeography. So these, for this conservation approach, actually, we needed to add another perspective from phylogeny to phylogeography, so which I'm going to discuss later. It is important also to consider these extinctions and the relict populations. So let's zoom out a little bit and look at the Mediterranean basin. Actually, the habitat that Psorodonotus ebneri is occupied is typical Mediterranean highlands, which we have the similar habitats in Tyrrhenian Islands or Greece, some of the cases. And here, the southern Anatolia part is the actual distribution. So this is one of the iconic papers most of you may know, the biodiversity hotspots. So Psorodonotus ebneri itself has a conservation status, and also its habitat is one of the biodiversity hotspots. So it needs more, how to say, concentration maybe on the conservation perspective. So also from the, like 2 decades ago, Professor Çıplak reported the diversity of Tetigoni lineages in the Anatolian Taurus Mountains, actually. So here you see the high rates of the endemism. So again, this is kind of a general pattern that we expect from the mountains, because with the high endemism, also with the mid-altitude, high elevations are quite important habitats for cold-adapted species. So it is really important to combine all this perspective into conservation actions to be able to project the future population dynamics. So also on the right, you see one of the legendary papers from Hampi and Petit. So how to interpret these population responses for the climate change, because this is the main threat for the cold-adapted species today within this interglacial period, also with the hot extremes. So we need to understand their biology, phylogeography, phylogeny, and habitat structures to be able to make a comprehensive approach. So this is an important case, studying the Mediterranean mountain lineages, and also for Mediterranean basin all, actually, because Mediterranean basin, like Mittermeier in 2004 stated that Mediterranean basin is one of the hotspots, biodiversity hotspot, but in IUCN Red List, you will see this around 2,000 taxa assessed. The species, like 20% of the species are threatened with extinction. So this is relatively high number of extinction due to climate change and anthropogenic change. So we need to focus on the species and the habitats also. Let's take a deep look on the species Psorodonotus ebneri. So here you see the male and female samples. They belong to Tetigonidae family and Pholidopterini tribe. They basically oligophagous. And for rare cases, we observe cannibalism for this species. They have 1 generation per year, which means univoltine. And they are sexually dimorphic, as you can see here. Actually, on top, you can see the male Psorodonotus ebneri and female on the below. But beside the difference in coloration, the main difference sexually actually is the wing length. So male species have longer wings, and females are more characterized with shorter wings, but still they both short-winged grasshoppers or bush crickets. So this is the study area, which is located on Beydaglari, Antalya, as I told, in the southern coast of the Anatolia and on the southern Taurus Mountains, actually. This is a kind of highland plateau, about 100, 500, and between 118 or 1,900 meters elevation. So it's relatively small distribution area, and I will present the population distribution also. So this is how the habitat looks in from the close. So you can see the rural settlement here, which are settled in summers actually, because of the weather. Actually, when it's warmer on the coast, they move on highlands with their animals, so agricultural and livestock farming, they do these activities in this field. So yeah, these are the grazed meadows also. And the habitat is mostly characterized by this ranunculus distribution. Actually, this is the typical kind of habitat of the Psorodonotus ebneri, I would say. So this plateau is also kind of, how to say, heterogeneous, because it's also have small ponds because of the ice melts and creates kind of Arctic, or how to say, the small ponds. So it has also wet meadow parts. So here I made a collage of the insects of the Beydaglari, but we didn't exactly study the biodiversity, insect biodiversity of the study area. So it's just some samples. So there are some Lepidoptera species and different Orthoptera and lineages and Coleopters, and here you see the Hymenoptera also. So it's a diverse habitat in a case. So this is what I would like to represent here with this slide. So as methodology, we try to estimate population size, which was lack in the IUCN red list page. So we wanted to understand the population size exactly. So for this, we use the transect method, like we walked for half an hour for a kilometer or 2 kilometers and count the species, which were easy to observe, easy to count actually, because it's relatively big and easy to observe. And we also wanted to understand the habitat characteristics, because there is no climate station near the area. That's why we placed 3 data loggers to collect the climate data. And we wanted to understand the habitat characteristics, like the aspect, elevation, soil type, and so on and so forth. So also we wanted to document the main threats on the populations. So for this, we did regular field observations. So as a result, I will sum up all the results soon, but let's start with the climate data. Actually, here you see there are some months missing because we couldn't do the field observations due to COVID restrictions, but in general, it reaches through about 20 degrees, like more or less 25 sometimes, and it never drops below 0, but I think it is because all data loggers were covered by snow, so it's somehow insulated, so it is, sometimes it drops below 0, even it's a monthly average, so this graph represents the monthly average for the temperature, but still this could be the case. And yeah, considering the hatching of the eggs, because I said these are univoltine species and they spend a whole winter in diapause. So they hatch eggs like from late April, early May. So it's more or less here around when it gets warmer, like 25, and they lay eggs in June. So when it's too hot, we cannot observe the species on the field. So this is more or less the needs, the ecological needs, 2 years in a row that we observed, but still we know we need long-term data to make concrete conclusions, let's say. So for the humidity, actually humidity is relatively high during the year. There is no big difference between 2 years actually, but the lowest humidity that we obtained is the ones that they lay eggs and they hatch. Actually, it drops. So humidity is really high because of, as I told you, it was a kind of wetland meadows. It is above tree line and it's just grassland meadows. So yeah, map of the study area, if you look at, so here you see the aspect, if the populations are north facing, located on north facing or south facing, and so on and so forth. So here are the population boundaries, you see, but we say population boundaries, but from evolutionary point of view, actually it is a single population with a patchy distribution, I would say, because it's a really small distribution area and they share the same gene pool exactly. So we can say this is one population with a patchy distribution. So mostly you see it has an east-facing distribution and here and south-facing distribution or southeast-facing. So here elevation is mostly concentrated on 1,500 between 1,900, and also you see the green represents the vegetation. Here is mostly vegetation, but the streams cross the population boundary. So it is also important to have these wet meadows, but not exactly there, close to there. So it was really important for us to understand the habitat characteristics which this species need. Also for this study area.
Özgül, you have
yes?
3 minutes.
Okay, so I will go on a bit, hurry up. So this is the type of the soil. This is mainly the Mediterranean type, the terra rosa. So I will say the main threat on the population we were expecting the grazing was, but we in the end observed that this is the summary of the findings. So, but we in the end realized that the grazing is not the main threat on the population right now, because they kind of changed the grazing seasons through the summer season. So when they lay the eggs, actually, so that was not a main stress anymore. So this is the kind of the summary of our findings. But altogether, these species need a narrow ecological conditions. So it is maybe important to understand this. And this is the outreach activities that we have done. We also meet with the local authorities to take action together. So for the future directions, actually, we really care about these. I wanted to mention about these two mind-opening papers, actually, because this species could be a model organism to understand the extinctions and survival mechanisms. So it is really important to understand fully its ecological needs and the phylogeographic history. And also we would like to understand their adaptive capacity for the future, for the high altitude adaptations, and to be able to take the kind of extinction vortex phenomena and habitat specificity, their specific needs. So this could be the future direction for this species. So this is our team, field assistants, Yasemin and Sinan. So here we are, a molecular evolution and biogeography team from Akdeniz University. So I hope I used my time carefully. Thank you for listening. And these are the references that I used for my presentation, actually. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's time for one question. Surely Axel has something to ask about the threat status of this species. No? Okay, there are no questions. Or is there an online question? No. Okay. Then we thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ben.